He didn't wag his tail. He didn't growl. He didn't bare his teeth. He didn't, his nose didn't twitch. His tail didn't twitch. I didn't even see the hackles go up on his back. He just tried to snatch that motherfucker's face. So I was like, okay, you ain't got to tell me a whole lot more about this guy here. He's ready to go. He's ready to go. And when I say, I've dealt with him, bro. And them that just really just stand there and they just kind of look and stare at the dog and wait for their chance to open their mouth on that dog. Watch them, bro. Watch them. So yeah. When I first got him, I wasn't really thinking Camelot. I didn't know about Camelot. I thought what I considered was that, I'm looking at his structure and everything, and I'm used to the box bred dog. So, I'm saying this is more like, them razor edge type dogs. But, I always considered them, kind of like band dogs. Like, I always felt like there was something more going on there. But again, I wasn't educated. I didn't know anything about reading a pedigree. I didn't even know that they kept pedigrees on dogs like that. So when I got him, and he started outclassing a bitch that I raised, and I know what I do when I raise a dog, I kind of had to look a little bit further, So I said, instead of bringing him to my house, bitch, I want more dogs like him. I gotta find me another dog that's bred like him, And that's when I really started looking into, well, who is this dog? Does he have relatives that I could bring him to that would give me more the same of him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what led me into pedigrees, man, and really researching, man, and finding out exactly, how he was bred, what made a good compliment for him in terms of breeding. But at the time, I would say I was still being influenced by the people that I got them from, right? So I bought Bull from Wealthy Division Kennels up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I'll never forget, man, wild story about that. We had discussed the price, but to me, I'm the type of dude, man, where people might consider me impulsive. Because if I'm looking at it and it lines up, with my objectives and it feels right in the gut, then I'm gonna move on it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
when the opportunity came, I moved on it. The numbers were sounding right. And keep in mind, like, I'm kind of in an experimental phase. I'm trying to see, man, what this is gonna do for me. Like, is this gonna pan out? So I'm going up here to see the dog, and the GPS gave me a route, man, through fucking Canada, from New York to Canada, New York to Michigan, but going through Canada. So here I am on St. Elizabeth Highway, or whatever the hell they call that, pulling up at the Canadian border with no passport, sizable amount of cash, not some pretty record. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talk about I'm going to Michigan to buy a dog. So what the fuck is you doing in Canada? Yeah, listen, man, bro. When I tell you, man, some of that shit you see in the movies,
yeah,
like, they tried to put the screws to a nigga, man. You know what I mean? But I can honestly say, bro, that my lifestyle is what it is today. I don't have nothing to fear, nothing to hide. You know what I mean? That's why I can speak so frankly.
Yeah.
So, I laid it out for him. Said, listen, man, the GPS steered me the wrong way. What the hell you want from me? You know what I mean? Like, this money is going to buy a dog. You know what I mean? What kind of dog are you going to get? And something told me not to say American Pit Bull Terrier, right? Something told me to say American Staffordshire Terrier. And I didn't even know honestly, at the time, what made me say that. So I said, American Staffordshire Terrier. And one of them dudes, man, in the back said, oh, he's going to get a pit bull. Your dog fighting in Canada?
Ah, man.
I said, oh, shit, man. I said, are y'all serious? You know what I mean? But I stuck to my guns, and finally a female piped up and she said, no, I've seen it happen before. GPS gives them the wrong route through Canada, blah, blah, blah. Says, we're going to let you through this time, but be more mindful. You know what I mean? It's, all right, okay. And I went on my merry way. As scary as that was, the motherfucking 4-hour trip through Canada was scarier. Because a lot of that, there was just nothing, bro. Like, it was late at night, and like, you don't see nothing to the left of you and nothing to the right of you. It's black, and it's just open. You don't see no buildings, no lights, no nothing for hours. It's like, man, am I even on the right path? But all of this to get a dog, bro. Do you understand, like, the commitment, the level of determination, the level of, like, man, I'm all in on this shit. So
Yeah.
I finally went and got him. And mind you, this was just to look at him. There was no guarantees that I was gonna buy this dog. But when I got there, I think we pulled up in like a local parking lot somewhere, Home Depot, some shit, We pulled them out and let him and Henny go off to the side and kind of play with each other, man. And he took to her real nice. He like he knew she was a female, and he was immediately taken with her. So I let her hop around and run and play, and let him kind of chase her around and see what his mobility is like, and see all of that, man. And honestly, I was kind of in awe of the boy. Like I was a little afraid, man, to really just handle him. Like, number one, this is not my dog. This nigga brolic in his head. If I touch him the wrong way and he turn around and grab something, I'm not sure I'm gonna get that motherfucker back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, nevertheless, his owner at the time was like, "Oh man, you ain't never dealt with these dogs before, man." Like, I put Henny in the car. He hopped in the car right behind her. You know what I mean? We went, we blew what we was gonna blow. We sat down, we chopped it up, because in Michigan it's all legal and all that. So I didn't even know that at the time, man. We was at the brother crib, man, chopping it up, blowing it down, and we right outside in the driveway, and his neighbors is coming out, whatnot, and I'm like, oh, bro, you wanna, go in the backyard or go up the street with this or something? I don't want to, offend your neighbors or nothing. You're like, man, it's legal out here, I said, well, go give me some of that legalized then. Let's ride back to New York. But yeah, man, shout out to Wealthy Division Kennels, man. Good brothers, man. I have to say, Sean Mason was the brother that I got Bull from. Like, no disappointments there, man. The brother was 100% upfront. He, you know what I mean? Like, good business. So where things kind of took a turn, his brother, Tevin Mason, had a female named Star. Star was about 4 years old. Now, Tevin was looking to let Star go. And he was basically saying it was because dog was being housed with his moms at the time, and he really didn't have the room for the dog. He didn't, you know what I mean? He was in transition himself. So, and we all go through that, you know what I mean? Like, in transition, can't keep all the dogs, gotta, make some move, whatever. So they began to pitch to me the idea of Bull to Star. And Star was not really what I was looking for. I wanted a dog that was literally Bull size, structure, that was a female identical version of Bull. And when they showed me Star, she was not that. Star looked like a little sausage. You know what I mean? Like, nah.
Yeah.
And she didn't have the head. She didn't have no head size on her. She's a real little head dog. She was a small dog, at least compared to Bull. I'm like, nah, this is not what I was looking for. You know what I mean? So he kind of had to talk me into it. And his thing was, this was a breeding that they was gonna do. They just never got around to it. Um, and he told me how Star was already internet famous, like Star was already viral. And he showed me this picture of Star with her being she was on a it looked like she was on some ice with ice skates. You know what I mean? She had a scarf on and a Santa hat, and like this picture literally went viral during the holidays that year. So when he told me where she came from a camp called Hollywood Bullies, and she was Hollywood Bully Star. Listen, man, the dog was misnamed. All due respect to Tevin Mason, but they never told me how hot these dogs was, bro. I don't ever remember having that conversation with either one of the Mason brothers.
Yeah.
So when I brought Star home, and I tell this story just as an illustration, bro. First, when I first saw Star, I was like, I was against it. I really was. I wasn't gonna fuck with it. Bull went up to her to sniff her. Like Bull and him was running free. They was running around running free. And Star would not even interact with them. Bull went up to her to sniff her. She damn near yapped him. He backed off and went to go play with Henny. The very interesting thing was this was 3 months after I had got Bull, right? And even going back to see his former owners, right? In the 3 months that I had him, they called him Trouble. I didn't want that connotation with him, right? So I changed his name to True Bull. And that's why I call him Bull to this day. It's a play on the name Trouble, but it's more, to me, it was more in keeping with what his true character was. Now the boy could be trouble. He definitely get you in some shit. I should have caught a couple of felonies fucking with this dog by now. But um, at the end of the day, True Bull for me was more fitting for him. So when I brought him back up there and I was going to look at Star, uh, even though he'd spent 3 years with his former owner and 3 months with me, it was clear that he was my dog at that point.
Yeah.
Like he did not go run into his former owner and like if because he was basically overnight, in an instant, he's going out with his owner, and then he's hundreds of miles away from his owner. You understand? So like, put that in the mind of a dog. He just been kidnapped and thrown into an environment that's completely alien, where he don't know nothing. He don't know this dude he in the car with. He's far from home, far from everything he grew up with and loved, bro. So when you return him to that environment, you would think that he damn near don't want to leave. That he gonna go run into his former owner, go crazy, and damn near knock the man down, licking his face, or and I didn't see that. Not saying that he did anything wrong with the dog, but only that the bond that we had developed in that short time was stronger than the bond he had developed with his previous owners in 3 years. And I think Sean Mason will even tell you that to this day. He said, yo, yeah, he's definitely your dog. So that happened in 3 months' time, bro. When I saw Star was like, she didn't fit the bill. So I really wasn't with it. But I talked to them a little bit, I understood Tevin's situation, what he was trying to do, he was trying to, just kind of stabilize things in his situation. And I respect that. You know what I mean? So I said, listen, all right, let's get in the car, man. I'll take it. So we agreed on a certain price and a pup back deal. You know what I mean? Long story short, when I brought Star home, she was on fire, yo. I didn't have no leash on him when I first let it. Like literally, I pulled in my driveway. Right now, you got the front door to the house and you got the back door to the house. Basically, half of an apartment belongs to the dogs. So we pulling up at the back door so I could let them into their part of the house. And Star, instead of her going anywhere near the house, she immediately hopped out the car, went out to the sidewalk. She goes down the driveway, goes out to the sidewalk. Happens to be some old man and his little ankle biter walking. She's sniffing the dog. She walks right up to the dog. Her nose is in the dog's ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, Bull and Henny see that, and they immediately go running behind Star. So what does the old man do? He panics. Oh my God! He sees 3 pit bulls coming for his dog. He picks his dog up off the ground, and they're so curious, right? They start standing up on him, trying to sniff the dog. So now he thinks they're trying to snatch the dog out of his arms. Funniest shit in the world. He somehow falls down, right? Like the weight of the dogs is too much, kind of pushing on him. So he kind of goes down holding his dog. His dog is in one hand, and with the other hand, he reaches out and he slaps the shit out of Star. Get away from my dog! Bow! He reaches back his hand and goes to swat her a second time, and it didn't come back as fast. Star had caught that motherfucker right where the motherfucking heel of the hand meets the wrist. And she got hold of that meaty part right there around the thumb.
Yeah.
So when he snatched this shit, credit to her, she ain't hold it and shake it, but she had a good grip. And when he pulled his shit back, his shit was leaking all over the place. Oh, I'm going to the cops. I'm telling the police. I'm going to the... I said, first thing you need to do is go to the hospital. And let me ask you, how's your dog? See, in all of this, he done now forgot about the dog. The dog is on the ground and safe as a cucumber. Ain't nobody bit the dog. Ain't nobody hurt the dog. None of that. So why did you hit my dog? Your paranoia.
Hell
So
yeah.
the fact that you hit the dog and drew back a motherfucking nub is on you, player. Make sure you go ahead, when you go to the hospital and you fill out that police report, you make sure you tell them your dog was completely unharmed. They didn't so much as lick your dog. So you did all that for what? But that was Star's first incident, bro. That was Star before she was in the house, goddammit. Before I had a chance to say, sit, bitch, that was Star. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
her and Henny immediately clashed. As a result, Bo didn't like Star very much because he had grown attached to Henny. Him and Henny slept together every night. They curled up, they shared the same bed, they, all of that. They was bosom buddies. So when Star came out and she was older than Henny by 2 years, she came out with this aggression towards Henny. And Henny's not the back down type bitch at all. Not at all. Bo didn't like Star's aggression towards Henny. And that set off a chain of events, man. That was like, hold the fuck up. What exactly is a motherfucking Camelot dog? Like now, it's not enough to just find a dog that's bred like he's bred, that's similar to him. It is necessary to understand what the fuck I have on my hands. Because now I got yard accidents breaking out. Like, this is a natural everyday thing for these bitches.
Hell yeah.
When I got Star, I don't think she'd ever been on a spring pole in her life. I don't know what it was she was chasing or jumping or whatever it was in that photo that went viral on the internet. But when I got that bitch, she was fat. She was, she didn't have no real mouth. She didn't display any real mouth. Um, she had food aggression. Like there was some shit with that dog. And the first time I put her on a spring pole and she started really getting it, before I knew it, I didn't have a dog in the camp that could outwork that bitch on a spring pole. In fact, if you didn't feed her daily diet of spring pole, you had a problem out of stock.
Yeah.
She had to get up there and go swing for a couple of hours before she was satisfied. So back then, I got Star in February of 2018. I got Bull in December, the first week of December 2017. So they was right on the heels of each other, so to speak. But I did have that little 90-day period with Bull that not even 90 days, but I had some time to work with him, and I had certain expectations of him, so forth and so on. The first time Henny and Star got into it, Bull intervened. Star didn't back down to Bull. She tried to fight them both, yo. She really tried to fight them both.
Mm.
And that's when, now I'm so deep in the pedigrees now, it's like, hold the fuck up. What is this dog? Because Star didn't have any tendencies. She a band dog, she didn't display human aggression. She was very easy to handle, none of that. Star was a box dog, bro.
Uh,
Anybody that know the game, that been involved, they had their hands on that bitch. Oh, this bitch got to give her what she want. She telling you who she is. And it was funny because she was almost 4 years old when she was acting like this. But all it took was another female to really bring it out of her. She was pretty much cool with Bull. Like she would tolerate him, but she didn't respect him as alpha. Star never respected nobody as alpha, even when she got her ass kicked. Every dog on the yard was bigger and heavier than Star, even Henny. You would see Star and Henny get into it. I think it's a video on my channel, man, where I talk a little bit about it, and I preface that video with a message about personal pain and professional progress. You know what I mean? But I say all of that to say Henny would always be the top dog. You would always find Star on the bottom. But what she was doing down there was ridiculous. You knew, like, you had to get that separated quick. Star's mouth was as nasty as the pandemic.
hell yeah.
I believe Star could have finished the bitch from the bottom.
Uh,
Star was that type of motherfucking dog. From the bottom, she could finish a bigger and heavier dog. But that's like that was an introduction, bro. That it was a rude awakening for me. So I really have a major problem with dudes hopping on the channel screaming these dogs as bullies and trying to put them in that category that would have a person expect an American bully style temperament. Because somebody's going to get hurt. Something's going to go tragically wrong. I did not expect any of this out of Star, and I damn sure didn't expect Bull to get the way he got. Like when I tell you, after that incident that I posted on in the video, in that conditioning pit bulls gone wrong video,
yeah.
I separated them, had them kind of like, cool, whatever, and it took a little minute but I managed to get them back on the yard together again. You know what I mean? And I made sure that, Bull could work while I had Star literally in my possession. Like, you're not going nowhere, bitch. You're not working. He's working. He's going to get his shit off. You'll get your chance in a minute. The minute that bitch yapped, like she wanted to get in, I've never seen him leave his work, bro. When he's been assigned a task, that boy do that task. And I have a thing that I call working my dogs to completion. In other words, you're not just on that spring pole for hours for nothing. I expect you to bring that bitch down one way or another.
Yeah.
That's working to completion. That's a staple in my program because I believe the dog should be rewarded. So he literally dropped the motherfucking spring pole, turned around, ran straight at me and Star, yo. And he's never done no shit like this. He snatched that bitch out of my hands, bro. Dragged her out to the middle of the yard and started shaking that bitch for dear life.
Yeah, get some get back.
You. Yeah, I'm tired of you, tired of your motherfucking mouth. Man, I got something for you. And again, that type of memory that tells you something about the intelligence in the dog. Be careful. Stop underestimating the intelligence of these animals. We tend to lump them into categories and say, oh, these are traits and characteristics. Your dog is as individual as you are. The same differences that you have between your brothers and sisters and shit like that, these dogs have, bro. And to really learn a dog, man, listen, chain setups is good and all that. And I honestly believe that's where high drive dogs belong. But you don't really learn them until you live with them. And when I say live with them, man, I mean like they coming to wake you up in the morning. They coming to say, hey, it's time to eat. Bull, to this day, if I was to walk up on Solo's cage in a menacing manner, Bull is gonna flip on me. And he won't actually come at me, but he will bark like, yo, what you doing? That's a baby. All you have to do is display certain types of behavior and movements with these dogs. A friend of mine gifted me a nice little aluminum baseball bat. First time I picked that bat up in this motherfucking house and held it like I would normally use it if I had to use it, every fucking dog in this house went ape shit. And I ain't never held the baseball bat in front of none of them.
That's crazy.
What you get. Yeah, that's what you're getting, bro. That's what you're getting. So this is not an American bully. This is not a companion style dog. This is a high drive working dog that knows its purpose. It knows what the fuck it was born to do. And it expects you to follow suit. Yeah, believe it or not, your dog has expectations of you. We always talk about what we want in a dog and, so forth and so on. These are our expectations of the dog. What about what your dog expects of you?
That's a good one right there. That's a good one.
Bro, this is not textbook shit. This is not something I picked up in a textbook and sat down and said, well, the college manual said. I didn't learn about a dog's drive to please you being greater than its prey drive or its drive to reproduce, except by handling the dogs, by learning the dog, by the dog showing me.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff is written in books, and a lot of stuff falls under the headlines of or the category of conventional wisdom, right? The conventional thought on this, or the conventional way to do this, is XYZABC. Everybody say, pay attention to when your dog comes into heat. Pay attention to when your dog comes into heat. Very few people tell you that there are ways that you can influence your dog's heat cycle. Now, you can't force nature to operate out of its own rhythm. But when that rhythm is, every dog's biological clock moves according to a certain rhythm. So when her time comes around, if the dog is not in season, that means there's something fucking with her rhythm. And it's up to you as a handler, as a breeder, as an owner, whatever you want to call yourself, to pay attention to that and understand what her body is telling you. Maybe we need to do more of this and less of that. Maybe we need to put this in the diet and remove that. The dog is literally the blueprint for nature and natural course, natural processes. Trust that. A lot of times when you see that, there are problems in breeding programs and so forth, that's because man has intervened too heavily in the process. Motherfuckers breeding too close. They so interested in breeding drive on the dog that they breed a bitch that's a puppy mauler. It's not natural to nature. Wolves do everything in the world to make sure their pups survive. Foxes, coyotes, badgers, shit, Canadian geese, damn it.
Yeah.
Anytime you got a dog that mauls its own puppies, do you breed that? Do you breed her offspring? Now that's an individual question of ethics for every individual breeder. But to me, if a bitch can maul her own pups, I don't trust her around kids.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't give a damn if she's ever shown man-body tendencies or not. There's no reason to maul puppies. None. Not when your instinct, the way of nature, natural law, is to preserve them. To give your own life in preservation of them. So to me, that's something that's completely backwards and contrary to nature. I don't like to see that in my dogs.
What about if the say you got puppies, but it's like it's not her puppy. Say you got a dog, you know what I'm saying? Say you brought Star out and there was puppies from another dog and she went at him. How would you feel about that?
Now that's rivalry. That's different. That's different.
Okay.
What she's trying to do is eradicate the presence of the other female. You see a bitch that mauls her own pups in the hot box, there's no threat to her. Unless she somehow perceives the pups trying to nurse as a threat. And I've seen that too. Pups get to a certain age and they going at them nipples so goddamn hard, they literally attacking their mother. And she's scared of them. She's backing off like, oh my God, like this is too much. So you have to understand the difference in the dog's behavior. Another thing that, to me, I say trust nature, but also be a student, right? And the only way you can be a student is to truly look, listen, and observe. Look, listen, and learn, right? So when a bitch is when a bitch is pregnant, right, and she's about to, give birth, the whole time that you're trying to breed that bitch, she should be your constant companion. And that's just my opinion as a breeder. That's just the way I rock.
Yeah.
If that bitch was kept in a crate, then from now on she's a house dog. She roams a house freely. If I'm about to breed this bitch and whelp her, why? Because this bitch needs to know me and her environment with 100%, 1000% confidence. A scared bitch, a nervous bitch about her environment will will give birth to some fucked up pups. And she may do some fucked up shit thinking that she has to preserve her, or the environment is not safe for the pups. I've seen people do things, man, and it literally made me cringe. And I'm not gonna call it out here and now. You understand what I'm saying? But here on YouTube, and I've thought about literally, putting together a series of videos, from clips of certain shit that other people have done to say, listen, man, there are do's and don'ts in this game, and this is definitely one of your don'ts. Because
Yeah.
when a bitch is pregnant and about to give birth, what do wolves do? What do foxes do? What do coyotes do? They separate themselves from everything else in creation. They go find the most isolated area that they can find. People think that the dog cleaning up behind the pups is just a thing about keeping the pups clean. When the pups eliminate and all of that, the mother's cleaning that up in the early days. But that's as much as a throwback from the instinct that wolves have, because if the pups eliminate and that scent is left around, it will attract predators. So they go and find a place far away from anything that may even be remotely associated with a predator. And this is where they give their pups. You don't have your pups born on Broadway, bro. You don't want your pups born to a young bitch in high traffic areas.
Yeah.
So if a bitch is in a hot box, secluded, and it's just her and her pups, and she destroys those pups, man, I don't know that I want that in my dogs. Now, if I'm breeding just for the box, then maybe. But like, I just don't consider that a desirable or balanced trait in a dog. And to me, even on the box tip, B, I found that the most balanced dogs are usually the best dogs. To be a good box dog don't necessarily mean that the dog got to be rabid crazy towards everything it ever seen on four legs. That's not true at all. So a lot of times dudes is breeding for this extreme temperament or this extreme drive. And what you're really doing is fucking up the balance in the dog. You're fucking up the balance in the bloodline. And you're not really giving the dog an opportunity to develop fully its full potential in all phases of being a dog. The American Pit Bull Terrier is not just a fighting dog. And I'm gonna take all the heat in the world that any box running fool wanna bring at me for saying that. The American Pit Bull Terrier is not just a fighting dog. This dog has qualities and characteristics that make it one of the most intelligent, versatile, and utilitarian dogs on the planet. That's why everybody, they start with the American Pit Bull Terrier when they want to do something else, right? When they want to get something a little bit more of, the band dog and the bully and all of that. It really is somebody saying, I want this American Pit Bull Terrier, but more of it in a certain direction.
Yeah.
The original formula for the bully was supposed to be a pit bull on steroids. Now the standard for the bully is that this is a dog with no drive. This dog is friendly with everybody, animals, human beings, completely docile. It is strictly a companion breed, not a working breed. That is the standard for the American bully today. I'm sorry, my dogs don't fit the standard. And at the end of the day, bro, you would be doing somebody a serious disservice, and I could even say you violating that person by telling them that Camelot dogs are bullies. That original Camelot stock, much like that Razor's Edge stock, man. Staffordshire bred the game dogs. Period. Heavy bred, heavy OFRN bred. For you to breed Camelot stock today, you have to get creative to find a decent out. The blood is that tight. This Camelot blood is tight, bro.
Yeah.
You have quality breeders in the game who are making sure that the blood is concentrated. Like they producing the best possible dogs they can possibly produce, man. That's some of what I want to highlight, when I do my little thing on my channel. I want people, man, being brought to the forefront, man, that are breeding true, correct, drivey game dogs, man. Working dogs. And I wouldn't give a damn what any particular individual wants to put, what label they want to put on that dog, right? Whether you want to call it a bully, whether you want to call it a band dog, whether you want to call it a pit bull, whether you want to call it a mutt, I don't care what you want to call it. But you better understand that these dogs have been bred along certain lines for the preservation of certain traits. And among those traits is very, very high crate drive. Rainer's litter, literally, bro. The breeder told me, he said, listen, man, he woke up wee hours of the morning, man. The pups was in there going crazy on each other. Right now, we talking about pups that ain't even 8 weeks old. These pups ain't been shipped yet. These pups was in there going crazy on each other. He said he was so aggravated, he started snatching pups, tossing them across the living room to separate. Not
That's
that he
crazy.
was doing anything mean or harmful to the dogs. We're not saying like he literally tossed them across the living room, but
Yeah,
literally,
nah.
man, he had to vigorously separate them, man.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? For the tree huggers out there, you don't mean really throwing it, you know what I'm saying? It's just an expression or a
Right.
conversation. We just
Just an expression.
yeah.
But, you know, so that's what you expect from a literary dog, right? Um, and it's funny, man, because, in that box bred life, it's not unusual to have like, if you get a litter of 6 pups, it's not unusual, like 4 or maybe even 5 don't turn out. Right? Like you got 1 dog, maybe 2 that you feel like might be decent prospects for the work. You get sometimes, bro, entire litters that come out cold. And I say this from experience, man. But I've never seen that with a Camelot litter. Now, I ain't bred every Camelot dog, and I'm not familiar with every Camelot stud and so forth and so on. I'm not going to claim none of that. But listen, bro, one of the things I did learn, bringing Star to both, that breeding failed, right? And I have my own theories today as to why that breeding failed. But at the time, the way it looked to me was that Star could not be bred. That's why she was 4 years old and had never had a litter. That's why if you tell me you're in financial trouble and you have a bitch on the yard that can be bred with a stud that your brother owns, that litter alone, granted, 6 pups, that's a good, let's just say that's a good amount of money to get you out of your financial troubles.
Yeah.
Right? That would be a strong contribution toward whatever financial situation you was in. So why not do the breeding and handle your financial issues that way? So at the time, Star Star and Bull had like been stuck twice. I think I did like 3 AIs or something, 2 or 3 AIs. And after every incident, Star would always go right to the middle of the floor or the area and just piss it out. Right. So the first time they stuck, she pissed it out. The second time I did an AI and she pissed it out. So I said, all right, the next time I'm gonna get smarter. I did a second AI and I held the bitch upside down for like 30 minutes. I kind of OD'd with it. I think she was upside down for like 35 minutes or something. But no sooner than I let that bitch down, she immediately went right into the middle of the living room floor and pissed it out. And then they got tied again after that. I was actually headed out to go somewhere. I had some type of business engagement, and as I'm throwing my shit on, I feel something kind of at the back of my knees, and I damn near tripped over them. They were stuck literally behind me, like who and when and how this happened, I have no idea. But they did it on their own. And again, I trust natural processes. So I stuck around long enough to see them separated, you know what I mean? And again, she went right to the middle of the floor and let that thing go. So now by this point, I'm worried that she can't, that she's not going to produce a litter. Like she's not holding, she's not holding. So I thought to myself, well, if she don't produce a litter, how will I know it wasn't him? So I said, well, let's go back to the original plan, which was to bring Bull to Henny and do a quick AI there and see if that takes, right? So the very same day after he had been stuck to Star, I left out for my appointment, came back later that day, I did an AI with Henny. The very same day he had been stuck with Star. Long story short, Star never conceived. Henny conceived 10 pups, gave birth to 8, rolled over on 1. We raised 7. So now, that tells you something about his producing power. It wasn't him at all. We knew that it was definitely Star at that point. And to kind of bring that story with the Mason brothers to a close, man, and this is just how the game go. I told him, I said, Star never took, you know what I mean, but Henny did, you know what I mean? So, like, my question was kind of like, what's going on with Star? You know what I mean? She been hella handled. She always on fire. She always starting fights, and like the bitch don't breathe. She don't keep the semen in her. And brother asked me if I had a progesterone test done, and my answer was no. But I didn't get a progesterone test done for Henny either. I knew both bitches went in heat at the same time, and I just let nature take its course, and then I helped nature along with the AIs.
Yeah.
When I put Bull up in Henny, that was just like a 1, 2, 3 thing. That was just like, all right, let's see what happens. And we went on about our business. I didn't even wait to see whether that Henny would piss the thing out. I didn't hold the bitch upside down. I didn't do none of that, bro. I just squirted the shit up in there and went about my business. I really wasn't expecting her to take. So when she did take and Star didn't, not only did it change the dynamics between the dogs in the household, now you got a lot more fights breaking out, right? Because, again, Henny needs to be on my heel and Star needs to give her some space. And previous to that, it had been opposite, where Star was getting all the attention because we thought she was conceiving, and Henny was kind of on the outskirts. So that change in the dynamics led to a lot more, shaking and baking between them two. You know what I mean? And it was just like, it was almost unpredictable. There was times, man, when they would literally sleep together. I have on a video, man, where the night after Henny and Star went at it crazy. I think all three of them got into it that day. They all slept together the same night, and Star spent literally a fucking hour licking Henny and Bull's wounds. She would not let them sleep. They was all curled up together, man, and she just sitting there licking Henny and licking Bull and then licking Henny and licking Bull like crazy, bro.
Yeah.
But you know that was my introduction to Camelot, man. And that's when I came to understand, man, like these dogs are pit bulls, man. They have a whole different thing going on. You know what I mean? Like you can't you can't put them in a category of dogs that don't need to be worked. As much as any dog I've ever seen in my life, these Camelot dogs, they need that work, bro. If you're not giving that dog that work, trust me when I tell you, you're not taking the dog and what the dog wants into account. But you know, when you deal with different breeds, like different strains, right? And you see like, from the husky to, the house dog to the box dog and then to the Camelot dog. That experience literally taught me, man, to really pay attention to individuals. And when you're going to breed, which brings us back to that original question, man, why breed? What is it that you hope to accomplish by bringing these dogs together? And what I'm hoping to accomplish, man, is to produce dogs, man, that are literally worthy of being considered a family heirloom. Like when you got these dogs, man, you want to raise your kids with these dogs. You want this line of dogs in your family for generations upon generations because this line of dogs has become a part of your family. Because they've protected your family, they've furthered your interests, they've kept your household secure and brought love and affection into your household, loyalty, like on a level that's bar none. So that's why I breed, right? So to dudes that hop out the window and start talking about why breeders, why you have no business breeding and this, that, the third, and so forth and so on, because they'd have been to a few dog shelters and they see all the unwanted dogs there. Ain't none of my dogs ever been unwanted. And anybody that knows me will tell you I'll go to hell and high water for my dogs. You fuck with my dog if you want to. You better off fucking with your own life. And I mean that.
Hell yeah.
You understand? My dogs don't do nothing to nobody that, like Raina. Raina is probably the most people aggressive dog I had. But Raina was raised that way. The day I got Raina, I left her at a partner's house or a former partner for about 2 hours, if that long, while I went and walked my other dogs. Since then, Raina has not known another human being.
Mm.
Raina is so attached to me, it's annoying.
Yeah.
If I go sit on the bowl, and I'm not trying to be funny with this, bro, Raina, as big as she is, will try to climb inside my drawers, bro, and lay down inside my drawers as they sit near at my ankles.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how she is, bro.
I already know. I already know what you're talking about.
That's real shit, man. And that's when you begin to really have a relationship with your dogs that you see, well, you know what? They will follow me to the ends of the earth. Now, I was born and raised, Spanish Harlem, and we had some strong, strong families back then. You know what I mean? My family coming out of Lehman Projects at the time, my brother was doing his thing. You know what I mean? Known on the east side and the west side of Harlem, he could move, pretty much with impunity. Next door to Lehman Projects, you had Carver Projects. You know what I mean? The Carver mob was, like I grew up, went to school with all of them from the nursery, from Carver Nursery and all the little local grade schools. Them was all my we was all in the same classes together. And at a certain age, man, them boys became something to wreck with, or something to reckon with, I should say. So I've seen families, crews, organizations built, and I've seen them fall apart. Right? I've seen things where, at a time when things was at a fever pitch, you know what I mean, at a high point, you would never have questioned the loyalty of the individuals involved. But nevertheless, as human beings are human beings, when it all falls down, you begin to see character failings. You know what I mean? And let's speak frankly, when you talking about the game and in the street and how that thing go, you don't never want to hear a nigga that you love took the stand against other niggas that you love. You always want that story, man. You always want to hear it from the horse's mouth, my nigga. Like, what? Why? You understand? But I point that out to say that the loyalty of your dogs compared to the loyalty of human beings, man, bro, it's just nothing like it, man. I remember in New Haven, Connecticut, bro. I took a pupil underneath my wing, man. Young brother was a real estate agent, and I was into real estate investing at the time. And I was also working with a couple of real estate brokerages, you know what I mean? And basically my role was really winning them business, you know what I mean? And young brother came to me, man, he had been renting out apartments. He had been helping, like Section 8 tenants find apartments, find Section 8 landlords. And that was his role in the real estate game. But he came to me and he said, I want to learn that part of buying and selling houses. I want to, get those big listings that get you, those commissions and all of that. So I said, all right, bro, I ain't got no problem. I'll give you game. You know what I mean? I'm going to put you onto it, how the game go, but I need you to kind of pay attention to what I'm doing for you. You know what I mean? And just follow suit. Because I approached the game from a real estate investor's aspect more so than a real estate broker, right? And the major difference between the two is that the real estate broker, he doesn't own the property, right? He's just the middleman facilitating the transaction. A real estate investor is more likely to go ahead and take possession of the property and then flip it for a profit, right? So I was showing the brother ways and means to actually take possession of property. And he ran across, he had a client, a landlord that had a couple of multifamilies, an older woman, you know what I mean? And she had 3 buildings that she literally did not want. So I showed him how, he could literally take possession of these buildings, so forth and so on. And my payment was supposed to be one of the buildings. Well, completely reneged. The joint went so far left, man, that, let's just say, man, it's not even safe to talk about the rest. That story may still be unwritten.
Hell yeah.
That was a legitimate life legitimate business. I mean, I went to this man's christening, right? I brought his family a bottle of champagne. I brought him a bottle of champagne as a gift. Um, and $200 that he had paid into us going to a real estate seminar. Now, technically speaking, he couldn't make the real estate seminar. His money was forfeited. That's on him. But I went and brought him his money back. You know, like, yeah, bro, like, come on, man, you got a seed. You know what I mean? This is a bottle of champagne. Here's your money back, man, and let's talk about, what it's going to take to make sure that your seed has a decent future. Let's talk about generational wealth. So I didn't have no problem putting them in a position to acquire 3 multifamily properties that would pay rent, as long as you had them. But it wasn't appreciated by a human being. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I've just put that dude in position, man, like a no look back position. Now, there were some other steps that needed to be taken because the properties had some mortgage issues. But him being impatient or whatever the case may be, being greedy, whatever the case may be, he flubbed the whole deal for his damn self. So those properties will never pay his children's education and send his kids to college and all of that. He lost them. But on the flip side of that, if I feed my dog a chicken breast, man, he makes sure he coming to say thank you. He will not stop, man, until he has come to me, man, rubbed his head all over me and, just really just kind of just showed his appreciation, his affection. And all I did was throw him a chicken breast. Different level of loyalty, man. You know what I mean? Different level of loyalty.
Hell yeah. Hey, shit, man. Hey, right there on that note, man. Hey, I wanna thank you for your time. I really need a part 2 because I want to break down the Camelot. You know what I'm saying? The difference between like we talked before, the difference between the Camelots. You know what I'm saying? And dive off into that area. But I appreciate the time that you've given me, my brother. I appreciate it.
It's all day, Bank. I appreciate you, creating a platform, man, that gives brothers a voice, man, and really allows us, man, to give some insight as to what we do and why we do it, man. So it's definitely appreciated, black man. Shout out to you, man. Absolutely. Salute.
Hey, salute, brother. I'm gonna tap in with you. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, I'm gonna need a part 2, man. I feel like that was clear right there. Your introduction from beginning from the Huskies into the introduction of the Camelots and what they really are. And then, you know what I'm saying? Now I kind of want to pick your brain on the knowledge that you've gained from knowing what Camelots are and doing your knowledge, your research. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to share that, bro. It's been a journey. I've learned so much. I feel almost like it's my duty to share that. So whenever you're ready, bro, hit me up and we at it.
Already, man. Go ahead and let them know where they can find you and let them know about your show, man, that come on Sundays.
All right. It's Imperial Flame Kennels on YouTube. You have Imperial_Flame_Kennels on Instagram. And then you have Imperial Flame Kennels LLC on Facebook. Every Sunday night, 7 p.m., we do the Fire Pit Chat live. That's where, just dog man sit around and we start chopping it up, man, about, our experiences. And, I specialize in the Camelot, in the Camelot dogs and the big red pits. So that's kind of like what what that conversation is about. And then Wednesdays and Thursdays, middle of the week, we try to do a little breeder spotlight. Try to bring you the best of the breeders in the Camelot world, man. Those who are really making a difference and are producing the kind of dogs, man, that we actually, we admire and we treasure. And that's like Wednesday, Thursdays at 10 p.m.
Hell yeah, man. I'll be tapped in, man. I got the notification bell on, man. I appreciate you and everything you're doing for the Camelots and you know what I'm saying, showing the difference between Camelots and they are not bullies. You know what I'm saying? You got real life experience and you displaying it on your channel, man. So I appreciate you. And thanks for the time, man. Hold on. I'm going to end this live right here.
All right, bro. And y'all make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, take it to the bank. Bank Statement Kennels. Y'all stay tuned.
Hey, you already know, man.